Welcome to the People's Guild.
Each week we explore the Splinterland universe with guests from all across the mythical land of Praetoria.
Join us on our journey as we discuss the evolution of the game, the strategy, the lore, and the exciting path that lies ahead.
To support the People's Guild, make sure you subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts, and also check us out on PeakD, YouTube, and Twitter.
To send your questions, suggestions, and epic battles in our comments through Twitter or email at thepeoplesguildspl@gmail.com. We'll feature the best in our episodes and maybe airdrop you some prizes.
Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the People's Guild. Another week, another episode, another great guest. A first timer. I feel like it's been a while since we've been able to claim first timer.
Years. It's been years.
Years.
At this point.
And a new name to the Splinterlands community, ecosystem, universe. Made his entrance as part of, shout out to Bulldog, putting together the Grand Prix, Splinterlands Grand Prix. Brought over a handful of content creators that are busy doing streaming for other games, and wanted to toss their name in the hat on some Splinterlands competition. So we're super excited to welcome this guy to the show. DJ Dahota helped kind of coordinate and get MTGJedi on the show, and so shout out DJ, thank you. But yeah, without further ado, welcome to the show, Jedi. Wonderful to meet you. Wonderful to have you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate you having me on. I love doing this kind of thing. I'm excited to talk some Splinterlands and whatever other topics. But yeah, the Splinterlands community has been really welcoming and super helpful. It's been really great so far.
Well, for clarity, we do have a lot of Jedi seems to be at least relatively common inclusion in gaming names. So we have MTG Jedi here today.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Well, to be fair, MTG, Gathering, Magic, yes. That's a pretty common prefix, suffix in the Splinterlands universe too. So bringing them all together here.
Put the two things that you love the most together, and that ends up being your screen name.
That's how it goes.
I don't think I could say what mine is there.
Let's start with you. So you just hit on something that I think is near and dear to a lot of our hearts, Jedi. The Splinterlands community. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I don't know what it is, but I'm very proud of the community that we have accrued here over the years. Our communal ability to step up and support new players, and whether it's delegating cards or coaching sessions, or just back and forth answering questions in tavern or personal chats or whatever. I feel like this community turns out and is largely supportive and positive. Is that something that you have found across your other games as well? Are you noticing some key stark differences? What's been your experience with relative game communities?
Well, I would say as far as game communities go, I have not really had a lot of game communities. Since I've been a content creator, I actually started my channel on Pokemon Go. And I did not find that very nice. There were a lot of haters. So that didn't really go well for me. But the raid community and the Splinterlands community seem very similar. We have tons of great people in the raid community who feel that same kind of oh, you're new. How can we help you? What can we do to explain stuff? That's the kind of stuff we do for people all the time on the stream for raid. And so for Splinterlands, it's that same type of thing as well. Everybody was very welcoming, trying to answer questions, maybe a little bit too many it tried to answer questions, because then it's which one do I go with? But no, everybody's been super great and super helpful, and I do think Splinterlands has an awesome community from from the other ones I've experienced.
No, go ahead, man. I was going to ask
No,
how he came across the Splinterlands. How did you find it, or how did it find you?
Oh yeah, so Bulldog had messaged me about the Grand Prix. That's the first I've ever heard of Splinterlands.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
my dude Updog in the competition with me, he and I have worked together on some things in the past. And so when I found out that he was in it, I was almost like I was a little on the fence at first just because I'm been so busy with the Kickstarter and streaming and the holidays and stuff. So I was like a little on the fence about it, but the game looked so cool. And then I found out Updog was in it, and he and I have worked together in the past, and I was like, okay, that just seems like a lot of fun. So, but yeah, the competition was my first foray into Splinterlands.
sick,
Nice.
man. Hey,
Yeah.
what's the Bulldog connection? Hey, I don't think the beans
I
have been
don't, I
spilt
mean,
on
he
that
just
one. I don't know
messaged me
where.
like, I didn't really know him before that. Like I watched some of his stuff, and we just chatted about stuff. I think he just sought me out.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
must have come across your stream there. I watched your last one there. Oh, what, 28,000 viewers or subscribers, I should say,
Oh
which is
yeah, yeah,
very
on
nice.
YouTube. Yeah, thank you.
And
Yeah.
it seemed like you were doing multiple games. I skipped ahead. I was skimming through to get to the Splinterlands. It looked like you hit multiple games in what might have been a 4 hour stream, 4 hours plus.
Most of the time I'm streaming Raid.
Okay.
Raid Shadow Legends. Yeah, yeah. My viewers don't typically like me switching games, if I'm being honest.
Gotcha.
Um,
Gotcha.
but I like to try things from time to time, so especially with like a collaboration or a sponsor or just like once in a while a new game I want to try, but generally I'm a one or two game person. Like I like to stick with the same thing for a while.
Well, man, I would love nothing more than to fully convert you, much to the chagrin of your Raid Shadow Legends community. But yeah, obviously we're here. We're very bullish on Splinterlands. It's continued to evolve, and I think it's a very interesting time that this Grand Prix has been put together because there's, like I said, man, the game versus a year ago, it's night and day, and the team is kind of pumping on all cylinders at the moment, introducing new ideas into the game and new mechanics, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a really exciting time to be here. But
That's
um
cool.
yeah, man. The I assumed I was incorrect in my assumption, but so Bulldog got his start streaming, if I'm not mistaken, doing Galaxy of Heroes, Star Wars.
Oh yeah, okay,
So
yeah.
my assumption was that you guys went way back to those days and
Hmm.
had crossed paths in Galaxy of Heroes. But that's cool, man. Yeah, shout out to Bulldog. This is a really cool competition. I'm hoping it's the first of many.
Yeah.
Why don't we dive into the Grand Prix, the experience, um, just kind of the bigger picture, your take on this style competition, and does it sit well with, kind of the way that Splinterlands operates, meaning the gameplay?
Oh yeah. So yes. I mean, so far, I really haven't had the opportunity to try any of the other game modes. So I can't speak to that. There's only so much time to learn a new game on the fly. And so I really had to just like lock in and focus on this one game mode. But I would say it's been a pretty big challenge for me in the competition because I'm an iPhone guy. And
Ah,
you said you want to convert me to Splinterlands. I mean, that's the thing I need. I need to be able to play it on my phone. And so if that happens in the near future, like I'm down. I really love the game. But so that's been a challenge for me in the competition to try to find time either on stream or to just sit at my PC and play. Um, but jumping into like the competition, I think that this format does a pretty good job. Um, there's a lot to learn, don't get me wrong, but if you can try to just focus on like the most important parts of the game, then you can try to like get your feet under you and understand what's going on enough to, get a bunch of wins and progress through the ranks, I guess.
Okay, so real quickly before I forget to mention it to you on air, um, there is a Splinterlands app, an iOS app. I'm also an Apple guy. There is a Splinterlands iOS app that is in the works. Getting approval from Apple has been evidently a technical nightmare.
It's
Uh,
always hard, yeah.
yes, I mean they're very stringent in their requirements. But Hive Keychain is an app that is available through the App Store, and the entire website has been um, uh, formatted to work on mobile through the Hive Keychain app. So it's not a direct Splinterlands app, but you have full access to all of the crypto side of the game as well as the gameplay. So I realize that that might not fully tick the box for you in terms of mobile access, but anything that you could do on PC, you can 100% do through the Hive Keychain app. So
Okay, yeah,
it's
I'll
worth giving
definitely.
that a go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier. It signs all the transactions for you in the background automatically. It just kind of makes it a much more seamless experience
Cool.
there.
Love to hear that.
And speaking of the mobile, how was the mobile experience for you as a
Yeah, so
first time?
I have never played it on my phone, so I have
Oh,
nothing
okay. We
to
haven't
speak of
tried
on
yet.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha.
I'm
We'd be
excited
curious
to
to
try
hear
it.
what you think. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
for
please
sure.
let
Yeah,
me know what you do think.
sure.
Cool. So what's the current status on your ranking on the Grand Prix, Jedi? Are you
I
tip
think
of the
I've
top
fallen to
there?
third. I think I've
Falling to
fallen
third?
to
Okay.
third place. Yeah. I was in first place for a brief moment, and I was pretty excited about that. And then I fell to second, pretty quickly, and I thought I was gonna hold second place for a while, but no. But now I'm back down to third, and I've found like the current level that I'm at is what, Diamond 3, I think. And in Diamond 3, I have found it like a challenge there. So I think I played like almost 30 matches today and like I had a decent win rate, but like I did not make a lot of progress.
Well, okay, so I've got so because all of you guys came on board at the same time, starting in bronze, you guys are
Yeah.
competing for the bronze leaderboard.
Okay.
So it makes it real easy for anybody kind of following along from the Splinterlands website. You can look at the current season's bronze leaderboard.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I mean, you've got the second least amount of battles, but by far the highest win rate, that's huge. So well done,
Thank
man.
you. I didn't even know
Um,
what my win rate was, so it's pretty cool to know.
77%, dude. That's people will probably start asking if you're a bot, Jedi.
Wow.
Yeah, just teasing. But yeah, well done, man. What is it that you noticed as you called out reaching Diamond 3 as
Mhm.
uh kind of the first real challenge for you? Or is it the level of competition, the abilities that are coming out on the other side of the screen, or
So there's a couple of things. Number one, I would say that this is the first game that I've played that has the same like win-loss reward penalties. You're going
meaning like plus 20 minus 20?
right,
Ah,
right.
okay.
Usually you don't hit that until the top echelon, whatever that is. So for what's after diamond in this game?
Champion.
Champion, yeah. So I would think that that would be at the champion level, whereas below that, it would be just easier to climb at the lower levels. And then once you get to diamond, maybe it's like plus 30 minus 10 or plus 30 minus 15, something like that. Um, if you really want people to be able to make progress without having to spend like, hours a day grinding. Um, so from like a gameplay perspective and like a game balance perspective, like that's where my head's at there. As far as like what's the difficulty and challenge in Diamond that I'm coming across is just being able to put competitive groups of cards with extreme low point thresholds.
Mm.
Because my card pool is only what people delegated to me and like what I bought. I think I might need to go rent a couple more cards. I have not rented any cards. I did buy a couple cards. Um, I think I might need to go rent some other low level cards and like think about what strategies that I would like pair with that. But then that's hard because like, let's say it gives you, blue and red under 20 and the cards I bought were dragon, right? Or the cards I rented were dragon. So, with such a limited collection, it's a big challenge, but one that I enjoy. So,
Okay, so a couple things that you called out there that I really want to kind of hone in on and see if we can do some on the fly assistance. So as far as uh let's pick the easier topic there, the second one. If you go to, and I'm curious, I think we talked about it very briefly on your stream the other day. I hopped on and we were kind of chatting back and forth. If you're at your main battle screen, uh you have the option to fire up a challenge or practice mode.
oh, really?
Yes. So if you're looking at the main screen, top right of your screen, just beneath your icon,
Oh, practice.
click practice and then cards allowed.
Yeah.
Select Ghost Modern.
Okay, that's what it defaults to.
Okay, so that's going to give you access to everything that's currently available from Rebellion and Conclave Arcana, all of the reward cards, blah blah blah. So this will help you kind of, number one, make available to you the whole pool of modern cards.
So
So
I
when
can
you
decide what's good and what's
correct,
not good.
yes, uh,
Oh, blew my
yeah,
mind.
yes, and then difficulty, you're looking at diamond, so drop down to expert. That's going to make all of the cards
Okay.
available both for you and your opponent at the
Okay.
diamond champion level. And then opponent is inept, skilled, or professor. That's the degree of difficulty of your opponent.
Okay.
I imagine that you'll probably jump right into professor. That's what I would do. I want to, I want the best of the best.
Yeah.
Um, Unfortunately, you cannot, fine tune the details. Like I want under 15 mana. I want XYZ elements available. That is something that has been requested, and I think eventually we'll get there. But for now, it's going to simulate, the kind of battle conditions that you'd come across in modern,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah.
So
So I'm
that's a
wondering
great
if there
starting
could,
point for you.
yeah, absolutely. I'm wondering if there could be like something worked into the game where even early on, whenever you hit your first two losses in a row, maybe there's like a pop-up that says, "Oh, hey, there's a practice mode." I'm not, I mean, maybe there are other people who don't know that it exists, you know?
It's a great call out. We'll take, so there's a channel in Discord called UX where all of this sorts of feedback eventually makes its way.
Hmm.
I'm sure, not a whole lot of people listen to our little podcast here, but I'm sure somebody's gonna take that message and run with it. And maybe Jimmy.
Dude,
Okay.
we have dozens of listeners, man.
Well, shout out to
Uh,
everybody who's listening. Sound off in the comments so we can say hi.
nice, like
Nice.
a
Yeah,
true pro.
I've been a big advocate of practice mode, and actually was pushing to get it initiated, and I'm still pushing to get the fine-tunable details. Like letting you pick splinters, letting you pick mana caps, etc. So you really
Yeah.
get a chance to dive in. And I'm assuming what you said when you meant like low I forget what term you use, like low numbers. You meant like low mana battles, right? Like finding the
Yes.
right card to play in low mana battles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the things I love about the game is just the way I was, and I noticed this watching some of your stream when you're seeing all these rule sets pop up and you're reading them. Every single match is different.
Yeah.
Based on splinter you can use, what mana cap you can use, the rule set. So it's just
Yep.
like curveball after curveball, and you really got to be like, whoa, you got to be on your toes. You got to be
Yeah.
thinking fast. So
Yeah.
very cool. And low mana is a thing by itself. Like when you see that 12 to 15 or 12 to 20 mana,
Oh my goodness.
that's a whole different world right there.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I like it though. I do. I like the stipulations and the quick thinking, the strategic, you know, value of Splinterlands. I played a good bit of Marvel Snap,
Hmm.
and you have a lot of that same kind of thinking in that game as well, because they have like the changing locations. You keep the same deck, but then the locations in the middle change every game.
I would
And
love for Splinterlands to adopt an additional game mode that's akin to Snap.
oh
I,
my goodness, sign me
dude,
up for life. I'll
dude,
admit.
Snap. I don't know. They have somehow I know they had a big kind of falling out with a lot of the community, but in my opinion, and I've been playing for years. Whenever Snap dropped, I've been playing since then, and I continue to play it. They somehow managed to keep it fresh.
Yeah,
The new cards, the new locations. It's pretty amazing that
yeah.
they've managed to stay so relevant and fun and engaging. Um,
Yeah, I would love to see that
mm,
type of game mode come to Splinterlands. That'd be very cool. The what we have right now with like modern or whatever that that I've been playing, that's what we've been wanting in Raid. We have a live
oh,
arena where you make picks and challenge each other using your champions, but there's no stipulations. It's just any champions in the whole game. There's no other way to play.
ah,
And
okay.
so when I came over to Splinterlands and I saw that that's the way that the game works, I was very intrigued because we've been wanting that for a long time. And now all of a sudden, well, that's how this game is built. So that's a
What
big
is the root of the desire there? Is it so that any champion in any given condition can be the more valuable pick? Is that kind of the
They
root of the
want
desire there?
people to be able to use the awesome champions that they got, and they think it would be a negative experience if the champions were limited. Because in Raid, I would estimate each champion has a value of about $100. Like if you just wanted to like get a bunch of champions, you would probably have to pay about $100 per champion, so it's expensive. Now, obviously, you get a lot for free just by playing the game. But if you were to convert it to monetary value, and so they see limiting that as a negative play experience that they're not willing to waver on.
Mm, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Jimmy says, the constant changing battle conditions, I think is such a fun and interesting twist on
Yeah.
the card game itself. It
Yeah.
provides, a card that is worthless in this battle is actually going to be the MVP in your next battle. So you're rewarded for having a very deep collection.
Yeah.
And it pays to have, all the cards available in modern sort of thing.
Yeah. I
Um,
think that's cool.
awesome.
Curious about the Marvel. So I don't play Marvel Snap. I know. So both of you guys do. You mentioned location. Jangles, is that something that could relate to land, perchance? Like
So
location?
location is like that's how they dictate a rule set. So each location has its
Okay, has
own
different.
conditions. So,
Well, we
you
are
know,
kind of talking about similar things there too. With I don't know. We have another element of Splinterlands. It's land. It's literally like all this digital continent where people own plots, and right now we're like crafting things and harvesting resources to make stuff. But the idea is to integrate that into the game on a much broader scale. And there has been talk of similar types of things where, go to different regions and you have different battle parameters as a direct result of that.
Hmm. It could be cool if I was able to get my own land and like start building a base or a fort or something, or my own castle.
There
Ooh,
are castles.
there's
There
150 castles out of 150,000 plots.
Hmm.
So they're kind of
Just
hard to
get
come by.
lucky.
Yeah, yeah, because they were all blind. It was all here's your
Oh,
plot. You don't know what it is. It was unsurveyed, and at one point you had to
okay.
flip that card over. The dice RNG gods go into action at that moment, and you see what you
Okay.
get.
so there's one castle on the market at the moment, $10,000.
Wow.
So there's 150. Is that right, Jimmy?
Yeah,
150
yeah,
regions.
yep, yeah, I believe so.
150 regions. So there's
150 castles.
150. No, is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
So how
I'm
many keeps? How many
99% sure.
keeps are there?
10 per region, so 1,500.
And then 150 castles. Okay.
Castles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So regions are going, or excuse me, keeps are going anywhere between high 800s and 9,500, and it does pay, to pay attention to the location, the community that is around there. Obviously, a keep or a castle in a very productive part of the continent is going to be more valuable than one that's sitting in an idle
Yeah,
community. But
and that's
yeah, it's
because
a
we have
cool
kind
it's
of
a
a
cool aspect of the game that we're just starting to tap into.
Yeah, we have kind of like a feudal setup where, if you own a keep, you generate, tax revenue based off all the 100 plots that are directly in your purvey. And same with the castle. The castle oversees 10 keeps. So that's part of their value is they kind of, get their little tax tribute from all of the plots that are working underneath them.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
definitely have to look into that more.
Dude, Jedi Splinterlands it's it's amazing to me that I've been here for going on 4 years. Jimmy's been here for how long you been here, Jimmy? 6?
2020. So what's that, like 30
Almost
years
six
now?
years?
I don't know.
Something
Yeah,
like
6 years.
that.
Feels like 30 years sometimes, tell you that.
Yeah.
In a good way. In a good way.
And we're coming up on our eighth anniversary. And
That's crazy.
the longer that time goes on, the more I realize Splinterlands has such a deep economy and system of different gameplay. Like there's guys that are only committed to land at this point. There's guys that are only committed to the liquidity pool side of things and trading cards and the market activities. And then there's guys like, I think I fall in this final camp where, my main affection for Splinterlands is the gameplay and the
Yeah.
tournaments and the guilds and the brawls and that sort of stuff. So it's amazing to me that, despite the game not really like the gameplay itself not really changing in that time, we've continued to find folks that are able to find their lane in Splinterlands. And it's very often, you talk to 10 different people, you're probably going to get 10 different means of how they consume Splinterlands, which is such a cool, and I think it's unique to Splinterlands. Like I don't know of another game that has all of these different elements where that can be your primary mode of consumption for the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure either. I haven't played any game like this, so um but I think mine would probably be like yours. I think the game aspect, like playing cards,
Yeah,
the strategy of it, at least to start, that's what is appealing to me.
cool.
Coming from Magic the Gathering, how do you find the transition into Splinterlands?
I would say a lot of I don't know, like the basic mechanics, like the way that it feels like it should work. A lot of the times that's how it works. And like my instincts on things seem pretty accurate, you know? Uh
Hmm.
and that's one of the things that I was like, trying to feel out when I first started is like, are my instincts any kind of on point? Like when I look at and try to evaluate a card, like where am I at with that? Like this card seems really good to me. Does that make any sense to other people? And I've found that a lot of times, yes. So that part's been really great for me. But I think, as with any card game, knowledge of all of the cards that are available is like super important. And if you know what all the cards are available, then that makes it way easier to decide what you want to play, and also like knowing what your opponents are going to do and stuff. So there's still a lot I don't know, but
Hmm.
I feel like I've picked up on a lot so far.
Cool. So similar enough that you could jump in and kind of feel like you're in familiar territory there.
Yes. Yeah,
Like
exactly.
a
Yeah.
digital interpretation, scaled down, slight modifications and such. And yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I still
So,
mess up like the order of the cards, and like some of that doesn't make sense to me, like just
mhm.
like naturally. So I have to like really think about what order I'm putting stuff in, and I still don't get that right every time.
Well, that's a
Um,
big part of it, man. That's a
so
huge
yeah,
factor.
yeah,
You
it's a
can see
really big part.
six identical cards and just two of them are flipped around on the different teams, and then that's the deciding factor.
Yeah, I lost a match
Sometimes
just
it's a
like that.
landslide victory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What's the Uland card that when she dies? I think she's 4. When she
Arrow
dies,
bait,
what is
Yeah,
right?
it?
Arrow
Arrowbait.
bait.
Yeah. Yeah. I put her all the way at the back,
Ah.
instead of in the first spot, and I just got
Mhm.
wiped.
Oh man. I mean, I laugh, but I love that's like the discovery. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
it doesn't always make sense to sacrifice the card, but that's exactly the card that you want to meet shield right away, and
I
everybody else
just
gets a
thought she
big
would die
buff.
quick enough in that last spot. A
Yeah,
lot of damage goes to the last spot.
yeah.
And I figured that would be the case, but no, not good enough.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on your opponent, I guess, half the
Yeah, it
time.
was a really low mana fight in a rules set, like in a pool where I didn't have a good tank. So I needed her in the front to soak up the damage and then boost the other cards. So,
Hmm.
That's
but it's
fun, man.
good learning experience.
Awesome. Well, I think so practice mode is one of the things that I highly recommend.
Yes.
It's non-consequential. You can play to your heart's content, uh, figure stuff out, fail. Um, and I think a lot of that would, inform your market purchasing decisions, but B, uh, inform your gameplay when you get back into ranks. I think you'll pick up on stuff very quickly, and the bot. If you're selecting professor, the bot is playing optimized hands.
Okay.
So there's a lot of lessons to be learned from the opponent as well. Um, something that, just as an example, thinking back to when I first got started, snipe was one that always confused me. Like
Okay.
how does snipe operate? I
Yeah,
think
tell
that
me.
it's say again.
Yeah, tell me.
Okay, so it was never clear to, like, I always thought that it went after not the first monster on the opposing team, but it's actually the first non-melee monster on the opposing team. Uh,
Oh, so it could be anyone.
Yeah,
so
that's what it
if
targets. Yeah.
Yes. So if your third monster is your first monster is your traditional tank, second monster is a guy with reach and melee, your third monster is a support card and it's non-melee. That's going to be the snipe target. So snipe is one of those ones that it took me a long time before that light bulb moment, and then all of a sudden you're discovering like snipe meta, and we have, I joke with some of the community members that Keelan Gaines, I think you've discovered Keelan Gaines. He's the double strike
Yeah,
Mhm.
four magic guy.
I don't he seems okay. I don't know. Like, yeah, he's
Oh
a
my goodness.
Higher
Okay.
level. When he's maxed, it's a whole different world with him.
No, I
I
have a
forget.
max copy.
Oh, you got a max copy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Gotcha.
I think let's talk again after practice mode, Jedi. I think you're gonna have some new favorites, dude. Because
Yeah.
Keelan Gaines is the snipe meta. He's an absolute
Is he?
monster.
Okay.
He has been tamed a little bit with some of our reward cards and some of the stuff that's come out since. But yeah, great card, a lot of fun. Um, so practice mode is one that I highly recommend, and another one is the challenge mode. So challenge
Okay.
mode is one where it's right next to practice mode on the main screen. Um, and this is where you can send a challenge to an opponent, or an opponent can send you a challenge, and you can fine tune which elements are available, what is your mana cap, what are the rule sets on the board. And again, you have access to the Ghost Modern cards. So you have
Yeah.
the full spectrum of cards available. And you can really, if you want to dial in, 18 mana and under, that can be your go-to mana cap until the cows come home.
You're just literally telling me more and more things to reel me in, and you don't even realize it. That's the number one feature we want in Raid is challenge mode.
So
And they
this was, I think you'll appreciate this, Jedi. This was born from our buddy Vetiv. He calls it, he's a Magic the Gathering guy background. He calls it kitchen table game mode for all. So for all of our listeners, we got a huge eye roll and like sigh of relief. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So we were asking for this thing for years, and it finally came.
KTGMFA.
Yeah,
KTGMFA.
that's the
Bring it
one.
on. Yeah.
So being able to define battle conditions and mana caps and elements and all that stuff, it's a huge value add to, especially guys like that are just coming into the game and trying to figure stuff out. So
yeah.
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 Yeah. Learn what cards work. But yeah, it's a great testing ground, and we're still developing it, and kind of many of us chomping on the bits to get it to that past the finish line there with the fine tunable practice mode.
Yeah.
Like make challenge mode the same as practice mode for the parameters you can adjust anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool.
so Jedi, let's jump back to your first point that you called out as a challenge in Diamond. Um,
Yeah.
so are you familiar? So champion is the only one where it is always plus 20, minus 20. For everything below champion, losses are always minus 20, but as soon as you get your third win in a row, it's plus 40. So there is a mechanic
Mm.
to scoot you up the leaderboard a little bit more quickly.
Okay.
I suspect that, you run some challenge mode, you run some practice mode, those win streaks are huge. That
Yeah.
bonus, it's a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
That said, there has been a lot of conversation about rejigging what the rating system looks like,
Yeah.
because the plus 20, minus 20, it naturally and objectively feels more grindy, right?
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily the ideal player experience. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, dude. Like, so what, Jimmy? You've got more history with the traditional rating system. I don't remember exactly how it worked. It was Elo system.
Yeah, it was scaled. Honestly, it's been so long I can't remember what exactly it did. But like the higher up you went, it was based on who your opponent was too. So if you faced off with a much higher rated opponent and you won, you got a much higher rating boost.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, and if you beat someone who was below you, it was infinitesimal.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, scaled that way.
Yeah. I think you just want people to be encouraged to play more, but not like you have to give hope. Yeah, it has to be an encouragement. Like I'm gonna play more, and that's gonna result in something. Like I played for what, 3 hours on stream, and I ended up basically in the same spot. You know, even with winning more than I was losing, I'm still the same rank, not much higher than I was. Um, and maybe that's just because I was not hitting that 3 wins in a row. I mean, I'm sure I hit 2 wins in a row a million times. But then
Mhm.
a lot of times I would go back and forth with a win and a loss. So that just comes with time and getting better and having, a bigger pool of cards to work off of and whatnot.
Ha-
Um,
Have you dipped into the? I know you mentioned you haven't rented anything. You do have DEC to play with, is that right?
yes, yes,
Is it more a matter of you just don't know what to rent?
yes, yeah.
Ah, okay. Well, practice mode will enlighten the
Yeah.
Jedi. Nice.
Yeah, and like so like as I was playing, like some of the community was like, "Wow, with what you're playing, you would do really well with this card." And so then they delegated that to me. And I was like, "Perfect. That's exactly what I need." Um but like there's only so much of that to go around. And then I need to fill in the missing pieces. I just don't know what to fill it in with.
Sure.
So, I picked up some of the cards that I thought that I would use like frequently long term. Um, and I picked up like some higher levels on some of them as well because I figured, I'll be using them. And then my next step is to figure out what to rent to fill in those gaps.
So there, are you familiar with peak monsters? Is this something that
I
has come across your Discord
I
yet?
know of it, but I haven't used it yet.
Okay, so the quick and dirty is Peak Monsters is a really robust marketplace. You can manage rentals, you can manage purchases, you can manage your collection. And if you go to peakmonsters.com, there's a tab at the top called My Decks,
Okay.
and underneath My Decks, players have like custom curated uh cards that you can rent with a one click, and all of a sudden that whole curated card collection will become available for you to play in your
Perfect.
in your collection. So uh I'm gonna ask the community. I try to remain really competitive on my own in modern. I don't know if there's folks out there that have put together a solid modern deck rental in Peak Monsters. But if anybody does have that, please drop in the comments or reach out to Jedi and point him in
Yeah,
that direction. But
absolutely.
um, yeah, Peak Monsters is awesome, man. You can see, I think a pretty fair gauge of the more in demand cards are going to be the higher priced rentals, of course.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I have found that historically very, very helpful to kind of, start sinking your teeth into what is meta, what plays well together. It's usually cards that sync and synergize very well with one another that folks are building these curated collections. Now I feel like I'm throwing so much at you, Jedi.
No, no, no. That's a short and concise list.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, there's
Um,
multiple third-party sites where, just other entities have built these ways to interact. Just being blockchain game, it's every that whole back end is right there, public view. So it's like
Yeah.
all these third-party sites have popped up, and they all specialize in different things to really help you navigate and just do different things in the game.
Yeah. So speaking of the blockchain part of the game, like, do you guys make money off of the game?
Jimmy?
Uh, as far as well, I guess there is, with battling, I make SPS through land, I'm earning stuff. So yes, there is definitely um money coming in. I pretty much tend to just put all of mine back into the game and compound it. Some people, like we have scholars, which are players who are really good at the game, but can't afford decks and stuff. So they'll because it's blockchain, they can access someone's part of someone's account and be able to play battles using someone's max deck. And I know, a lot of those guys will, they'll get paid and they actually use some of that money to live off of.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
Yeah, it is a thing. And, during time, depending on, swings and stuff, I mean, geez, a couple years ago, there was a point, it was insanity. I was making like $5 to $8 a win.
Really?
Um, yeah, that was, it was the last crypto boom. So all this things were exploding. And, all of a sudden I was like, holy crap, I'm making $5 to $8 a win. This is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, it goes through waves, it goes through stages, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of people in the community who come out, further ahead than what they put in. And a big part of that is being able to be really good at the game because then you're good at ranked. The tournaments are another huge way to actually make more money. And this is another place where renting cards comes out, is a really good thing because a card might be $100 or $150 to buy, a max version of a really good like legendary card or epic or something, and you could rent it for a couple bucks, for the season.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, it's there. There is
That's
money
cool.
making potential. Yeah.
Well, you
But it's not
had you
just that. That's the thing too. It's not like, there's so many of these games in the past have you just go in there and it's like people are just looking for a quick buck or a quick ROI. So it's the game element is way more upfront than the money making element. But if you're good
Yeah,
at the
that's what I
game,
liked about it so far. Absolutely.
nice.
I had
Sorry,
to
John.
ask about the money part,
Nice. That's
because
kind of a good thing.
yeah, I think
that
so
is a
too.
good thing. Yeah.
Hmm.
You
My
want to
old
share
scholar,
Hyde's purchase with Splinterlands
uh,
winnings?
well, he had a few. Like at one point, he had he was a friend of mine. He's in the Philippines. A lot of people in the Philippines, like I was just talking to a scholar, they make like $8 a day. That's like their earnings. So supplementing Splinterlands winning goes a long way with that.
Oh yeah.
I had my old scholar. He actually his aunt passed, and I guess part of Filipino culture is a funeral is like a week-long event over there. The family comes and it's this whole thing, and he was able to basically to pay for the whole thing for his entire family through Splinterlands winnings,
Oh wow.
which was pretty wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there might be others that Jangles is talking about. I know he did a couple crazy purchases.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of very cool. We've got some OGs. I think Gold Matters. If you've seen Splinterlands Twitter at all, Gold Matters is absolutely everywhere. He's the king of Splinterlands Twitter. I think he paid for a full, door-to-door trip to Disneyland for him and his family with Splinterlands stuff. Um, that I think we've come a long way since the primary focus was return on investment. And I, like to Jimmy's point and to what you called out, Jedi, I think that is the place where we need to be. The focus should be on the gameplay, and I think that's testament to our staying power is that it is a focus on the game, and we've shifted very much towards that direction, especially in the last 2 years. But yeah, I mean, there's money to be made. One of our big content creators, After Sound, he calls it taking ice cream money. So as part of staking our governance token SPS, you get rewarded on a daily basis or on a minute by minute basis with compounding SPS rewards and a voucher token. And vouchers is one of the tokens that I'll use Aftersound as an example. He sells on a daily basis and turns those funds into additional investment for his land or buying additional cards for his collection. So that seems to be largely the predominant kind of buying behavior or reinvestment behavior is whatever funds folks are earning in the game is used to deepen their roots a little bit further in the game. So yes, it is there, it is available.
Cool. Cool. I love the buying and selling part of Magic the Gathering. I've bought and sold Magic cards for a variety of reasons over the years and paid for a lot of things in my life with that hobby. So that's a very appealing part about Splinterlands as well, that I might be able to do something like that.
Oh, yeah, that's a big part of it. We have people who have basically make a good part of their living buying and selling. There's people who buy, full accounts from people, and then make money flipping everything off that. And
Yeah.
some people who are just good with the arbitrage and, knowing, when a set comes out, knowing oh, wow, this card's really good. I'll pick up an extra copy maybe and just rent it out for,
Yep.
for the life of this thing. So there's a lot of opportunities. And I'm still trying to collect um, a lot of the old cards. I'm trying to get a complete collection of older cards. I just bought a dragon summoner called Prince Julian, which I've wanted for years. I think there's 82 in existence. It was a reward
Oh,
card that came out, or a promo card. It came maxed, and there was only 82 ever printed, So I was
wow.
finally managed to pick one of those up after wanting them for years. And the collector thing definitely kicks in for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, man. So what's the I remember distinctly which of the elements I was kind of drawn to out of the gate. I think, my Magic the Gathering days kind of informed my affinity for a particular element in Splinterlands. Have you found yourself drawn to one over the other? Do you feel like, Magic, I think, does a great job of, if you're playing uh blue, for example, it's control, it's magic, it's spells, that sort of stuff, and the elements really stay in their lane, at least as far as I remember when I was playing Magic. uh
They do.
they were true to their elements.
Yeah.
um is what have you found with Splinterlands, and do you feel like are you drawn to particular play styles with a particular element?
Um, so that is such an interesting question, actually. I find half of my opinion to be colors and magic, like relating that, but the other half is more like what type of characters do I like in role-playing games? And so I have to try to balance that with okay, which of these cards are actually good? So one of the things that's been a challenge so far is like I don't really know what the strengths and weaknesses of each color is right now. And so what I've tried to do is just focus on what combinations do I have the most powerful cards and the best synergies? So for me right now, that's definitely blue. My blue cards and like a little bit of black, like the blue black stuff, um, works really well together. Some of the red cards I was able to pick up, that's working well, and a little bit of white also. Those are the strongest combinations that I think that I have access to. At least I think, from what I know. Um, but as far as what I would pick if I had any options in the world, I mean, Hungry Hungry Hippos is a pretty fun thing to me, so I'm here for it.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I'm looking through. I've got your collection pulled up on Peak Monsters right now, and man, yeah, shout out again to the community. I see so many different names, staple guys in the community that have delegated you max cards, and that's so cool to see. But you've got
Yeah.
a really solid collection, man. I mean, you've got a little bit of everything. There's some really good cards on here.
Is there a
Um,
Commander Slade yet?
Yeah, that's one of my main strategies is Slade, yeah.
Yeah.
and you
Being a
have
farmer.
Jikarilla. Yes, you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like Slade plus Jick. It's pretty
yeah.
good.
That's a great that's a staple combo.
Like the video.
The video, yeah.
The dodgy.
Yeah, I can send it to you after we get off air.
Okay.
We got a buddy in game, Brave Tofu, who has taken it upon himself to make some amazing YouTube shorts, kind of diving into, particular characters or cards or other community member stories. And one of the recent ones is it calls out Commander Slade as being a dodgy douche.
Oh,
Obviously he is a very elusive, very fast, very speedy character, and I mean I'm
yeah,
sure you've been on both sides of the RNG with respect to trying to hit that guy, and it can be nightmarish.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
You just like heal him back up again.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, cool, man. Yeah, we can talk a little bit off air. I'm scrolling through your collection and I see some cards that I can definitely recommend to you as must rent. But
Okay, perfect.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
you,
just
you got a
send me a
you got a
list.
solid start point. Yeah. Cool.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So we've got 3.5 more days on the season, which means 3.5 more days on the Grand Prix. I think you guys, when I pulled up the leaderboard, it looks like you guys are all relatively close. I mean, certainly within striking distance. Um,
If I could
10.
put some runs together, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're down 300 points. That's not
Not much.
a whole lot of
Not
ground to
that
make up,
much,
man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my goal was to try to get to champion, so I would like to hit that, but Diamond 2, Diamond 1, that'd be great as well.
Awesome. So I'm really curious. We had, if you zoom back a couple of years, NFTs, Bored Ape, it kind of swept the world by storm, and there was a lot of money earned, there was a lot of money lost, and as part of being in Splinterlands and having cards that are NFTs, there's been a lot of folks that we like I said, we've got a lot of community members with a background of MTG, and they would pitch Splinterlands as kind of the next evolution of TCGs for
Yeah.
for the modern era. Your cards aren't sitting in the garage in a box and gathering dust. They can always earn for you. You can turn around and sell them on a marketplace. They're always in pristine condition. There's
Yeah.
there's a lot to love, but I think there is a very real stigma that has been attached to the word NFT or to the acronym NFT. Is that something that has influenced your perception of Splinterlands at all? Is that something that you don't even worry about? Is that something that you actually are very attracted to with Splinterlands?
I would say all of the above. Um, I did not know that Splinterlands was an NFT game at first. When I found out it was, I had a negative reaction, not a strong negative reaction, but a mild negative reaction. Um, a lot of the NFT games that I've tried to play have been, and maybe this has been a while, so I couldn't even tell you what they were, but it's more you learn about crypto and NFTs and less about the game that you're playing. And I knew that if I was ever going to get involved with an NFT game, it would have to be because the game came first. And I feel like Splinterlands does a great job of that. It's one of the things that I really like about it. You know, you have your ability to do all the NFT stuff and blockchain stuff, or you can just ignore that and play the game. That is really fun, really balanced, well thought out mechanics, like interesting and different than really anything I've ever played. And that is something I'm always looking for in my life. It's just something interesting and different that I've never played before. And this really scratches that itch. Um, and when I'm recommending it to other people, I don't even mention that it's an NFT game. If people ask about it, certainly I tell them, oh yeah, it is. And you can deal with that as much or as little as you want to. I like that, you know? It lets a lot more people into the game because you can approach it in a lot of different ways, as you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, very, very true. It's nice to hear that the negative reaction to NFT. It's funny that it was there, but it wasn't that bad. And
Yeah,
again, it comes from there has been some growing pains. But I also I think it kind of presents it or eases people into it in a way to show them that NFT doesn't have to be a dirty word.
yeah,
It's really, especially in the gaming, it kind of has blown my mind to see over the past several years how some hardcore gaming communities just hate even the concept of NFT.
they
And,
do.
these are people who are pouring money into these traditional games
Oh yeah,
and not realizing that NFT just basically means you can sell the items you buy instead of just, being stuck with them forever. You put all this
exactly.
money and all of a sudden you gotta, do something important. You want to buy a house or something, you could be like, oh, I'm selling some of my assets off here
Yep.
because they're NFTs. I can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I too am relieved. I think you put it in a very. I appreciate your insights because it's very refreshing to hear that actually you can consume Splinter. I can't separate the two. Like I've been around for long enough, and I've just grown accustomed to it, and I don't have that negative connotation tied to NFTs. Maybe I have that negative connotation associated with particular NFT projects from
Right.
the last
Mhm.
handful of years. But as far as Splinterlands, I actually think that's the beautiful side of Splinterlands is I can always turn around and say I'm sick of the game, I need a break, I'm going on vacation for the next 3 months. I can turn around and put my collection to work, uh,
Yeah.
and then reacquire it in 3 months' time when I come back. And because it's all blockchain, because it's NFTs, I don't have to worry about security. I know I've got
Yeah.
my keys protecting my assets. I think there's a lot of I wouldn't even call it silver lining. I would actually call it unfortunately there's a shit lining on NFTs when actually most of it is beautiful, right? And it's technology at its finest.
Yeah.
Pushing the game to new heights.
Yeah. I like that you don't have to know the technical details behind the scenes in order to enjoy the game, make money, do whatever you want. You don't have to be an expert on all of that stuff. You can learn as you go, you can ignore it. It's just very accessible for everybody. And I really love that.
Yeah, that's
So
kind of the goal too. That's good to hear. Like when you're using blockchain properly, you don't even know you're using it. That's the goal.
Exactly.
For people,
Yeah.
that's the hope. That
Yeah.
means it's a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so Jedi, were you familiar with crypto stuff prior to coming into Splinterlands? And again, I'll need you to kind of spill some beans for me on Raid Shadow Legends. I know nothing about the game. Is it crypto adjacent? Is it operate on the blockchain or anything like that?
No. Although I would say people spend as much or more on Raid as any game ever made. Um, it can be a very expensive game, and you can spend an infinite amount of money. There's no limit to the amount you can spend. Um, I would consider myself a complete noob when it comes to crypto NFT games. I I just had a bunch of negative introductory experiences that just led me to completely write off that space. As far as like what's going on with Raid, think about it as adult Pokemon. I know adults play Pokemon, but like if you take that idea and you're like, okay, I have like this awesome, like angel looking chick, and I'm going to go like defeat all these monsters and bosses and collect gear so that I can gear up my angel chick, and then I'm going to be able to fight different and better and harder monsters and bosses because of the gear and that, champion that I am building and improving and leveling up and all of those things. And then apply that to, you know, You just collect more and more heroes to add to your account, and then they do different things. Um, in the last couple of years, Raid has done an insane job of like pulling on the heartstrings of nostalgia. Like my favorite champion in Raid is He-Man. He-Man
Literally
is
He-Man.
the actual He-Man.
Oh
Yep.
shit,
With the
Yeah.
that's
Dutch
cool.
boy haircut and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's awesome. And he is freaking amazing. Now, don't get your hopes up because if you start playing Raid right now, if I convince you to start playing Raid, which you should, um, you can't get He-Man unless somebody gives you an account with He-Man. The collaborations that Raid does, the champions are exclusive. So it'll be like your dragon, right? Like there's 82 copies of the dragon. There's accounts that have He-Man on it that you could probably get your hands on, but you can't just go get He-Man.
Mm.
We just finished a Ninja Turtles collaboration, and then a couple weeks after that, they just launched Alien vs. Predator. Um,
Those are some big names, man. Those
big
those are
names.
massive franchises. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I do have He-Man, all of the Ninja Turtles, plus April and Shredder, and now I also have Alien and Predator.
Okay,
Um,
that's sick, dude. That
it
that
is.
is very cool.
Honestly, it is, and I have said out loud, I will say it again. If they put the Thundercats in the game, I will never quit. I will never, no matter what happens, I will never quit the game if they put the Thundercats in there. That's my favorite thing of all time is the Thundercats. And yeah,
Are there rumors of Thundercats coming?
we in the community keep pushing it as our number one want. So there are no rumors other than we need them to do it. I mean I've said like if I had all the money in the world, I would buy the Thundercats IP and revive it. That's how much I love that IP. But yeah, so it's a hero collector, and the cool part about it is that it is very strategic what gear you put on the champions. You can completely change what a champion does based on what gear you put on them, and that's very interesting to me. It's like building a D&D character with all of your different champions. And I really like that. Plus the graphics are insane. They're just like the best.
I might have to check it out. I feel like we've had maybe Bulldog may have talked about Raid Shadow Legends in the past, maybe Tails.
I
Um,
mean, Raid will sponsor just about anyone. So he probably had a Raid sponsor. If he's never had a Raid sponsor, tell him to hit me up. They pay insanely well.
wow.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, any
do you guys have an idea of player base? How many folks across the world are
I
playing?
think it's 2.5 million.
It's huge. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
big
it's one
game.
of the biggest mobile games. Yeah.
So is that how you primarily consume Raid is on your phone?
I do about 60/40 because I stream full time, so I'm on the PC a lot, but what I do streaming is a lot of helping other people. So I log into other people's accounts, like similar to how you looked over my collection and you're like, I think you could do this or that. That's the same thing I do for people in Raid.
Mm.
But yeah, if
So
you or anybody else wants to start playing Raid, I would encourage you to use my download link because you can just literally earn free money. You just play the game and you earn these gift cards. And I get like a little kickback from that, but you can just earn free money. I forget the top guy made something like $300 to $500 in like 2 months just by playing on it. And there's a cap. So like after so long, then you'll stop. But like $300 to $500, like that's legit, you know?
yeah.
Yeah,
And
for playing a game. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And we
That's
have these
awesome.
like new player promo codes that give you like legendary champions. Legendaries and mythicals in Raid are just like black foils. They're
Okay.
just like so hard to come by.
Cool, man. So you mentioned, I never got into Diablo, but we've got a big kind of subsection of guys that that was their bread and butter game growing up was the Diablo series. And um I think what attracted them to Splinterlands is a common thread that I notice in the conversations from, that group of players is the market stuff. So being able to sell items and purchase items and do the market activities. And you mentioned you can't get the champion outright, but you can get an account with the champion. Is that something that's pretty commonplace? Like folks will farm champions and then sell the accounts?
It's more of along the lines of players start an alternate account and then give it away. That's I mean there are ways to buy accounts. I don't recommend that if it the original owner can just take it back whenever they want it, basically. So
Oh,
you could get really screwed like that. But yeah, people give away accounts all the time with like crazy rosters and all of that stuff. So it'd be more like that. Um, Starting your account is just so fun though. I don't recommend that unless you know what you're doing, unless you've been playing for a while, that you would even take someone else's account because the beginning of Raid is just the most fun. It really is. They did
hmm.
a great job with the new player experience in Raid.
So are there some elements, new player experience is one that we have as a community, as a company, we have kind of put at the crosshairs of major focuses for this year. You have taken the non-traditional route in sinking your teeth into Splinterlands. The average player is going to come in and dabble around in frontier mode, and you're earning cards as you're playing. You could sell them on the marketplace, buy maybe a handful of modern cards, and slowly start to experience the progression that way. I would say uh you dove right into the deep end. And that
Took the
that
words out of my mouth.
yeah, I mean that's a very fun way I think to experience Splinterlands. I love the high degree of competition. I love all the abilities. I love all the synergies. Like that's how I would choose to dive in is, and how I initially did. It was, heavily reliant upon rentals and delegations and stuff like that. But as far as the new player experience, and you call out Raid as having a very strong kind of onboarding process for new players, what would be your kind of key suggestions for Splinterlands in terms of what is the lowest hanging fruit in terms of us really showing the path to competitive play for brand new guys?
Well, part of this might be on me because I went through the tutorial on stream, so I'm trying to pay attention to hundreds of people and also go through the tutorial, but I just really didn't get a lot out of the tutorial. A lot of things did not make sense to me. And again, that could be on me because I'm trying to like insanely multitask while I'm streaming. Um, but I think I don't know. The tutorial made me, here's the way it made me feel. Get this over with so you can go play. And I'm not sure why it made me feel like that. Again, that could have just been because I'm streaming, but I'm gonna just be honest. That's how it made me feel. Uh, I think if there was, see, the thing with Raid is that they lure you in by rewarding you with these items in the game that are going to help you do all the things that they want you to do. And I just didn't feel like that. It felt like just like oh, here's a tutorial, go finish that and then you can start figuring out how to play. So I think there needs to be some way to make people feel that the tutorial is valuable. And again, that could just be me.
No, that's great insight. That's definitely appreciated.
Mm. Yeah. We track, and this is something else I'd love to touch on with you. So the community is, I want to say, for a very long time, our strongest asset in Splinterlands. Like we the way that the DAO operates. I don't know if this has been something that's brought up in your purview, or if this is something you are even remotely interested in, but the community, I think more so than in a lot of other games, we have a direct line of contact with the team. And
Yeah.
if we're saying there's holes in the meta here, or this particular element is way too overpowered, or we'd like to see XYZ rule set, guess what? The team listens, and that is the direction that the game goes. And I think that is one of my favorite things about Splinterlands is, the DAO is the community, SPS stakeholders. We are directly influencing the direction of the game, and we're hiring the company to
Yeah.
and paying the company to develop the product.
Yeah, I think that's super cool.
It's been such a cool system to be a part of. And I would love nothing more than guys like you who bring a huge gaming background to come in and get involved. And obviously you have clout, you have reputation, you have the experience, you have the insights. I would say objectively, immediately your voice would be more valuable than a lot of us that have been here for a long time, just because you have that brand new player experience, and you've got a reputation to back it up. So
Yeah, let's do this. Let's just hire me. I'll work on the new player experience. We'll roll out a new a new feature, and we'll get a lot more players in here. Let's do it.
well, I say that because the tutorial is one that we during our town hall, we have monthly meetings with the company. The company live streams and shares data and shares metrics, and the tutorial is one that is brought up pretty regularly. It's a fairly recent installment in the game. I want to say the last 8 months, the tutorial has gotten a total revamp. So the tutorial that you came up with was very, very different to the tutorial that I experienced years ago. But I agree with Jimmy. I think this stuff is incredibly insightful, and like I say, we should be listening to your experience and your insights more than mine or more than Jimmy's, just because you have that new player perspective, and all of this stuff is. I realize there's 150 abilities, some odd abilities. There's
so many.
Like 800 cards in
and
the
there's
game.
9 more coming, 9 more abilities with the mini set coming.
That's awesome.
It's crazy. Yeah, no, it's cool. It just keeps adding depth. Yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, I look forward to so before we, and I do want to touch on Alaria Quest. I want to hear about your board game.
Sure.
But,
yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I wanted to say it's funny you mentioned hiring you, right? So have you heard about the DAO? Are you familiar with the DAO aspect of the Splinterlands ecosystem?
I would say about this much.
Okay. Well, that's all you need really to get it. So basically, SPS that you win in battles also functions as a governance token, where players actually get to vote on, the direction of the game or certain things, or hiring employees. So something that you could literally do right now is to literally put up a proposal to say, hire me to do this, XXX, this is how much I would charge, and literally throw that out to the community. And it would be up to the community to vote and say, we're going to pay this guy to do this, or we have no idea who he is, and it gets, shut down. But that is something that is one of the levers of our ecosystem is the ability for any player who owns SPS to be able to come in to alter the direction, steer the ship, if you will.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
Just throwing
all I
that in
want to
there.
do is work on games full time. That's all I want to do. So I would love to work on Splinterlands.
Well, so that feels like a very natural segue into Alaria Quest, but I'm going to
Sure.
push pause on that conversation
No
for
worries.
just a second longer. What have you started to think about what's next for Jedi with your respect to your relationship with Splinterlands? Like have you started to think about the next season? Are you going to continue with this account? Are you going to make a new account? Are you looking for a guild to join? By the way, you feel free to reach out. We'd love to have you. I beat you to it,
Team
Jimmy.
Possible. Team Possible is the best guild. You didn't name it in time. Team Possible is the best guild in the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I I have not made any firm decisions, but I know I do want to see what it's like after all of the we'll call them presents. All of the presents go back to their owners. All of the shiny things that people have let me borrow wisp away into the darkness. I want to see what it's like and go try some of the other game modes and really look at the game um and see what all it has to offer. Yeah, maybe get involved with is it a guild?
hmm
A guild.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guild gives you bonuses and battles and stuff like that too. So there's definitely
Yeah,
benefit
yeah.
to it.
Yeah, so I'm definitely want to check out all of that. Um, Usually I am a guy who has like one main game and one secondary game. And I have no second game right now. So filling that in with Splinterlands could be really awesome. Um, as my current livelihood is based around Raid, I'm not sure that Splinterlands would take over that, but like I'm open to it. Um, so I would say that I'm optimistic about continuing to play the game.
Awesome. Well, I would like to speak on behalf of the community and say I think you'll continue to get support. Like, you got the introduction through Blaze and Bulldog. They, introduced you to the community, to the tavern, and um we are a very generally supportive community. So, I would love to say that I think some of that support will continue as long as you're, you know, like I said, you bring the reputation, you have a history of being a successful streamer, and I think just because of that, folks would love to continue to help you out.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Awesome. Well, tell us about, speaking of game making and your true passion. You've got a board game called Alaria Quest: The Goblin King's Dungeon live on
Yeah,
Kickstarter at the moment.
I do.
Can be played in 25 to 40 minutes.
Yes.
uh,
Yeah.
give us the elevator pitch. Let's hear about your board game, man.
So I don't like. I've designed a lot of games so far, if I'm being honest. And when when I am designing a game, it's more like the game comes to me than I set out to do a thing. You know, it just that's the way that I design games. And so the core, like one of the core things about there's two really core things about the game. One of them I did in my classroom. Um, I taught high school math for 16 years, and for 10 of those years, I played this little game in my class on a regular basis. And it's just a fun little mini game distraction in my class. Okay. And whenever I quit my teaching job, my brother and sister-in-law told me to make the easiest game first. I was like, well, I don't know which game to make. Make the easiest one. That was literally the best advice I've ever received about um, creativity. Like, if you're trying to go make something, find whatever the easiest thing is that you want to make and do that first. Oh man, that's just like the best advice. So we have that mechanic that I used in my classroom, and then I came up with another mechanic to pair with that. So basically, I feel like I'm trailing off in a bunch of different directions. So let me bring you back in, okay? So you want to go on a fantasy quest, and you want it to be fun. You want to have a good time with your friends and family, but you don't want it to take a long time. The biggest thing that takes a long time is the tactical movement. So I just cut that out. There's no movement. We just go through the dungeon one card at a time, and that cuts out so much of the game that is not necessary to be there. I love tactical movement, but there's no tactical movement. So what I did was I combined a poker deck and a fantasy quest deck. And between those two, you can go through the dungeon to fight the Goblin King, gather some loot, get some maybe some cool legendary items along the way sometimes, um, and have a fun time without a big time commitment. So the way the game plays is each turn somebody flips a card from this little quest deck. And it's not very big. There's only 18 cards, but every time you play the game, it's going to play differently. So that's why I always say it's a roguelike game. Because each time you're going to get a different set of cards. It's going to play out differently based on which of those, what the order is, and then where the Goblin King is. Because once you fight the Goblin King, the game is over and you calculate your points. So there's the two mechanics that I'm alluding to, right? There's the flip mechanic. So some of the cards will say like each player flips a card. So you literally take a card from the poker deck, and that's your card that helps you determine what happens. You know, you found a map. Well, on the map, did you find a secret room and find some treasure? Was your map a forgery? You know, what happened on the event card? And then the poker deck will tell you that. So there are like different events, there are traps, there are puzzles, and all of those, you have a little bit of a random element. There are some ways in some of the expansions to control that a little bit. But you're bringing that like fantasy fun element into it. And it's a custom fantasy poker deck. So in the poker deck, you have like shadow warriors and you have angels and the Dragon King and all of these different characters that I've had designed. So you have like a sweet poker deck that's not just like your standard cards. They're the same, but they just look cool.
The
And
real question, Jedi, is
yeah,
are there Thundercats on those poker cards?
there are not. No, no. I'm not in a spot to make an IP collaboration like that, but that would be
What
awesome.
about just putting like a giant orange semi-afro on one of your characters?
Yeah, I could definitely do
Get
that. Yeah.
get the hairstyle, do the nod to
Yeah, but then you got to be careful about the Ronald McDonald comparisons, like how do we
Ooh, I never thought
differentiate?
about that. The main Thundercat guy could kind of be like an, alternate Bizarro Ronald
Yeah,
McDonald,
I'm sure
or
there's a
vice
meme
versa.
hole. Yeah, there's a meme hole in the internet there somewhere you could dive into. I don't recommend that one. Um, so the other aspect to the game is the fighting of bosses. And that's where the classroom part, this little game that I used to play in my math classroom, that's where that comes into play. And so basically you get your hand of 5 poker cards. You'll have a target number, and then you have to add, subtract, multiply, divide, and combine all 5 cards together to get that target in order to defeat the boss. And then there are stipulations built on it. If I'm being honest, there's a lot of parallels to Splinterlands in the game. Um, so I think that could be something that Splinterlands people enjoy. But it's a fun little like math puzzle that's not that complex. It goes off of blackjack rules, so you probably already know the values of the cards. And you get this like cool nostalgic like fantasy D&D vibe with like the art and like the feel of the cards.
Awesome, man. So, I mean, well, why don't you tell us, Jedi, where can we find more details about your board game? How do we support you?
Sure. So right now it's on Kickstarter. So if you just go to Kickstarter, you search Alaria Quest, it'll come right up. Um, or if we post a link to the Kickstarter, there is a whole channel on YouTube for the board game where I've done behind the scenes videos. I need to add some more on there with like gameplay and stuff. But we chat about it on my live stream and we've played a couple games on my live streams as well. The biggest way that you can support the board game is just buying the board game. Right now, I'm offering like a $50 combo deal where you basically get everything at a big discount. And if the game doesn't interest you, I have a really cool option on there where you can donate copies of the game to charity for basically as cheap as I could do it.
Awesome. And it looks like SideQuest Games.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
my
your
yeah, that's my
manufacturing name?
yeah, yeah.
Got you. Cool. Well, yeah, we will 100% be including your Kickstarter link, your SideQuest Games LLC link in our kind
Thank
of
you, thank you.
our posts. Yeah, absolutely, man. Um, so I run a school here in Taiwan,
Okay.
and so I'm always looking for fun. My whole thing is I want to change the education system from the ground up. And, I'm kind of using my school as, experimental laboratory to really nail down, what is the right curriculum, what is the right content, what is the right presentation, what is the right teacher to student ratio, what all of these sorts of things. And I'm really looking at, I live in Taiwan, so primarily we're teaching English to students between, ages of minimum of 4 and math. I look at English as really a tool. My goal is to teach kids to be curious. Like as soon as I can pique that curiosity, they do the learning on their own. They're
Yeah.
happy to explore, they're happy to um digest information, and they're going to run with it. So uh
That's
for a long time, I was trying to look for how can I introduce math into our classroom. And a game is, I mean, what's it? Is there a better solution to
yeah.
teaching kids anything than via a
No.
game? So,
Well, I have
yeah,
good
very
news
very
for you on
interested.
that front. There is a teacher lesson pack that you can add, and there's also a discount bundle for a bunch of copies of the game so that you can accommodate a classroom. All of that is already built into the Kickstarter. There are 3 different levels of lessons to build on. And I have personally used the game as low as second grade with some altered rules.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will definitely be diving in a little bit deeper, and I might get you a whole bunch of questions after we wrap up
Oh yeah,
and
totally
see
fine.
how I can support. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, exciting stuff, man. Are you in the process of like prototyping out the physical board game? Do you already have
Yeah,
what
so
does
the
the
game
final
is
product look
done.
like?
I have like the rough draft copy like literally in my hands and talking with the manufacturer, we are in like the literal final tweaks for getting the first prototype and I'm being really picky because I don't want like 20 prototypes. I here's what I want, do it the right way, and hopefully we can get that correct as soon as possible. Because once the Kickstarter's over, I want to start, getting to shipping the game as quickly as I can.
What's your target date for shipping?
So if the prototype gets here in a timely manner, which would be in the next couple of weeks, then I should be shipping in January. Like it'll be quick.
Exciting.
If I have to go back and forth a little bit, then it could be a little longer. I put on the Kickstarter April just because that was the long, like if everything goes wrong, then I'll still ship in April kind of a thing. But I hope to, crush that goal.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting, man. So this is the first name or first game under
Yeah.
the side quest games
Yeah,
banner.
you want to hear about some of the other ones?
Yeah, what are you cooking up, dude? Tell us.
So, if you go on the Kickstarter, one of the things that you can get is like a full poster map of the world of Alaria. So, Alaria is a fantasy world, and there are a lot of really cool aspects about it. The only part that we're exploring right now is the Goblin King's dungeon. It's like a mountain in the northern part of the land. But this is not just a game, this is an IP. So I'm working on and I am almost ready to prototype actually. Not quite, but I'm working on two other games in the same world. There's going to be a second game that's very similar to this one, except the theme is pirates instead of goblins. And then,
Yar,
yeah,
yar.
I love pirates. I really do. I
I
love
mean,
pirates.
who doesn't? Who doesn't love a good pirate?
Exactly. But I don't feel like there's enough good, cool art around pirates. So I want to make that and bring that into the world. And then the third game in the world is using a completely different mechanic. It's a poker drafting game. And it is, I'm just telling you, it is my favorite game. It's even better than this one. It's a blast. And I just cannot wait to finish that game and like see it in a box and let people play it. So yeah, those are the two other games I'm working on that are in this world.
Man. So
Yeah.
I'm curious with respect to the design process. So
Mhm.
AI is absolutely everywhere. I use
Yeah.
it on a daily basis, whether I'm just doing some market research here locally, or I'm generating some artwork for some advertisements, or doing some stuff for the podcast. Um, how much did you rely on AI with you mentioned that the artwork for Cool Pirates is pretty limited.
It is.
I can that kind of boggles my mind because, like you guys say, who doesn't like a cool pirate?
Yeah.
I feel like the artwork should be everywhere.
Yeah.
So are you leaning into AI to generate your own kind of like concept art and handing
Um,
that off to like a final artist, or what does that look like?
yeah. A lot of times, in order to help with the concepting, I do use AI in that process. Because I am trying to like bring out what's in my mind that like there's not anything good to base it off of. So let's get some kind of starting point. And then I have an art company that I worked with for a lot of the art, almost all of the art on the game. I worked with this art company and they just do a great job. I am planning on partnering with them for a lot of the stuff in these projects in the future. But I do use AI a lot in terms of like, well, can we get something to go off of? You know?
Cool. So
Yeah.
what's the the ideal pirate look like? Like, are you channeling like Muppets pirates? Are you channeling like Hook? Or is it more like Captain Phillips pirates? What's the cool
Seinfeld,
pirate? Which one?
Seinfeld
I would
pirates,
Seinfeld
say,
Seinfeld.
pirate.
like, one of the things that I love and respect about Raid Shadow Legends the most is they always find interesting ways to make unique character designs. And so that, like, sort of dark fantasy, nostalgic fantasy, but pirates is what I'm trying to go for. And specifically, they are cyber pirates. So, um, there's more than meets the eye with them.
Cyber pirates, huh?
Cyber
Okay.
pirates. Yeah. I don't know if I've ever said that out loud. So
A little
that's a little
alpha.
tidbit that's unique for you. You're the only one to ever get that.
Well, so this actually serves as a great segue back to Splinterlands. So we've
Sure.
got our next legendary summoner. Whenever we run a core set or a mini set, we offer a leaderboard on the pre-sale purchasers. The top 6 get to design their own legendary summoner. And the
Like
the
whoever
next
spends the
summoner,
most amount of money.
correct? Yeah.
And
Uh,
what are those amounts like? Like what's the
what?
range?
Okay, so let's play a game. What would you imagine securing a leaderboard spot looks like in terms of financial investment?
Thousands of dollars or more.
Uh, yes. So our top leaderboard spot, uh, it was he's the key developer on Lands right now, Cryptomancer. I want to say he spent $90,000 on the top position. The 6th spot, which is the first summoner that just came out, it's the very cool looking Minotaur shaman dude, loving the
Oh yeah,
mo.
I love that one.
Yeah, so that's the first of the next 6 summoners that will come into the game over the next 6 months.
Okay.
Um, yeah, he spent 50,000 to get that leaderboard
Okay,
spot.
thank you for letting me know that this is a long-term goal. I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah, man. So the next one is I think Jeff opened cards, probably appeared on your stream in chat. Does that name ring a bell?
I'm not certain.
Okay. Well, he's the 5th spot on the leaderboard, and his summoner will be the next one that is released into the meta, and it's this adorable little pirate that you see on your screen,
Oh, the
uh,
dog.
Captain
Okay.
Frankie. Yeah,
Okay.
and obviously it's homage to his current mutt Frankie, and
Does that
um,
mean that there will be more pirate-related cards in the set?
possibly. I mean,
Absolutely.
we
I
we
mean,
have
this
a
next
we
one
have
is
a couple.
Okay. Well, if we're
yeah.
hiring me on, there will definitely be more pirates. I can tell you that.
Man,
You know what I
I
thought would
look forward to
actually
the
be
proposal,
cool?
dude.
I thought it would be actually cool to do some collaborations, you know? And I happen to know of this company who would be open for collaborations. You may have heard of it. It's called SideQuest Games.
Oh,
We're open for
yo,
collaborations.
that rings a bell.
Oh, okay, cool, cool.
I mean,
Well,
dude,
have you?
honestly, oh, go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I was going to say, have you dipped your toes into the wild mode yet, where you get to play with cards from every edition that have ever been
No,
released?
no.
Okay, 'cause there are some pirates from the past that are
Oh, very
lurking
cool.
wild. Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
Captain's Ghost. That's I think maybe one of
That's
the
oh
big
yeah,
pirate ones.
yeah. All water element actually. Captain's Ghost is one. Pirate Captain is one.
Pirate Captain, that's a great one. Yeah.
Pirate Archer, another one with blast, ranged with blast. He might have been one of the
Cool.
first early blast guys, actually. Now that I think about it.
Does Albatross count? That's a
He's not a
piratey
pirate. Does he have a
bird.
pirate hat on? Does he have an eye patch or a pirate hat on? Then no.
I might be
Maybe
reaching a
we
little
could get
bit
a
with that one.
skin. Make a skin for the albatross. Give him an eye patch. It could be a pirate bird there.
I'm glad we're talking about pirates. I need to talk to one of my artists who's working on the poker deck for the next game, which will have pirates in the poker deck. He hasn't gotten back to me in a while. And yes, a lot of times they do need an eye patch or a hat. Otherwise, you don't know they're a pirate.
Or a parrot.
It's a key
A
feature.
parrot works. Peg leg.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta have something. Otherwise, they're just a random fantasy guy.
Yeah. Riverboat captain. That's definitely a pirate.
That's another one. Yep, he's a pirate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Oh,
think this
and there's
shows
the other
me
one,
Two Gun Pete. Two Gun
Rebellion.
Pete.
Oh, he's a straight up pirate. Throw it on your screen if you can do it. Do the
Yeah,
screen
got
share.
it.
All right, throw it up there, man. Two Gun Pete.
Two Gun Pete right here. Where'd he go? There you go. There's a pirate, if I've ever seen one.
Cool.
Yeah,
Well,
probably
I mean,
got
this does
6,
tell me that
7, 8
we
pirates,
need more
yeah.
pirates.
Yeah, definitely. Always.
Who's the pirate with the we got the pirate in the maybe Rebellion set or maybe one of the recent reward sets. Pirate hat and like the squid stuff going on. Kind of like squid pirate.
Oh, that's
Or maybe
like very Pirates of the Caribbean, isn't it? Like
kind of, but it's one of the cards. I can't remember what it is offhand.
the
Literally, it's
Masterminds?
definitely no, not Kulu Mastermind.
Rebellion.
Rebellion or Rebellion Rewards. Definitely not CA. I don't think it was CA Rewards. It doesn't go that far back.
What color is it?
I want to say blue. Want to say blue. Now I'm gonna have to look. Let's see.
The
Rebellion.
Soothsayer?
No, but similar.
who I
It's
was
like a
gonna
similar
guess.
race. Similar race.
She's very squid like.
Yeah, she's
I
got
like
the
the
squid
Soothsayer.
thing, but no pirate hat. Oh, we have Pirate of 8. Look at
Oh
that.
yeah.
There's Pirate of 8 right there.
Oh, Sea Dog.
Uh,
There's the
Sea
Sea
Dog of
Dog.
8 is piratey. Yeah, definitely piratey.
I guess I got you guys locked in on some pirates. I feel good about that.
Totally. Pirates and mustaches. We're all about pirates and mustaches over here.
And googly eyes.
And googly eyes. Definitely. Maybe it's CA.
Good deal.
Well, Jedi, I look forward to you starting to beat the drum on more pirates in Splinterlands, man. There would definitely be folks that latch onto that and help the cause.
Yeah, it would make waves per se.
Make waves.
Bada
But
boosh.
yes. Oh shit. Well, Jedi, absolute pleasure hosting you, man. Wonderful meeting you. Excited to see where this leads. Appreciate you taking the time to come on and hang out and share insights and talk experience and kind of let the community get to know you a little bit better. And happy Thanksgiving, man.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. I appreciate you guys having me on. As I said at the beginning, I'll say it again. I love doing this, meeting new people, talking about all the things that we love, and sharing that with the people willing to listen. So thank you for having me on, and it's been great. I appreciate you guys.
Definitely.
Right on. Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, we'll do it again. Look forward to I would love to get the retrospective here in a couple of months' time, assuming you do opt to stick around and continue. I think we've got some very cool stuff coming in the next couple of months that I think really bodes well for tightening up that new player experience and making things more engaging and more fun for folks as they're coming in. And yeah, if you're up for it, I'd love to welcome you back in a few months' time and do a little bit of a retrospective and see where you're at.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and if you ever find anything that totally is like makes no sense, blows your mind, like what is going on here, jump in the UX Discord and to give them a screenshot and being like, what the hell is this? What's going on here? Bam. They're very open to
Jimmy sent me.
criticism. That's right. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
Okay, cool.
And don't be shocked when they boot you out of Discord altogether. You're locked out. No, I'm kidding, of course.
Yeah.
They won't.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Oh man. All right. Well, yeah, thank you again to Jedi. Look for links in the post for side quest games, Alaria Quest, the Goblin's Dungeon, some cool stuff coming. Stay tuned. It's I think going to be a big final 72 hours on the chase for first place on the Grand Prix.
Gonna be
Um,
exciting.
yeah, support your streamers. Go say what's up. Shoot some challenges to Team MTG Jedi. It sounds like you'll be diving into practice mode and challenge mode, and it's always good to have a good sparring partner. So yeah,
Yeah, that's something you can do on a lot of streamers do actually is get accept, say, hey, I'm open to challenges on
Yeah,
stream. So then you get
yeah,
people, throwing you stuff out there, and that makes it a
yeah.
lot
That
more
sounds
exciting.
great.
Yeah.
cool. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving. Your travels hopefully going safe and sound, and enjoying some downtime with the family, some football, some turkeys, some good old America. Be safe. We'll see you guys next week. In the meantime, you have been listening to
The People's Guild.